Oh man. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Belvin. Let me turn this around. Yeah, let me turn this around. Hey guys, good morning. Belvin here. It is the last day of the year. And it's funny. Thank you for the hearts, by the way. It's funny. I hear all the resolutions that people are making and posting online, and the new starts and all the things that folks are going to do. I'm not knocking anyone's hustle. I'm not. Good morning. Appreciate it. I'm not knocking anyone's hustle. But what I'm saying to everyone is making a resolution is just an empty promise if you have the same mindset. And whether it's the first of the year, the good thing about the first of the year, it just signifies the beginning and all that. That's fantastic if you want to use that as your motivation to move forward. Thank you for the hearts. If you want to use that as your motivation, a good starting point, way to start your calendar. Any day is a good starting point when you're changing from something negative to something positive. So let's stop playing games with ourselves. And the first thing you need to ask yourself before you write a resolution down, before you post on any social networks or anything like that, has your paradigm inside your brain shifted? And if it has not shifted to something else, your focus is not on something else, then what is the resolution? And the funny thing is, you have people clowning folks now. Okay, let's see the resolutions, and you're going to make the same resolution you made last year. And actually, the funny thing is, if you look on Facebook and it shows you what you were doing at this time over the last 4 or 5 years, if you've been reading and seeing that you've been saying the same thing the last 4 or 5 years, that means the paradigm has remained the same. You are conditioned to say, it is this time of the year, I'm going to do this. First of all, stop. Pick 3 things. Make life easy for yourself. You can add more later on. Just pick 3 things. And if it's really that difficult, pick 1. And I know most people tell you start with 1. Don't start so easy. Start with 3. Make it tough on yourself. Start with 3 things that you know you need to do differently. And then do it. But this is what has to be different. What is going on inside of here that's going to make you start doing this? Everybody's going to go to the gym, and everybody's going to pay Planet Fitness for membership that they're not going to use, or LA Fitness, or Lucille Roberts, or whatever the fitness clubs are, and everyone's going to buy whatever diet plan and everything else. Hello. And everyone's going to do what they believe is going to work. First of all, write it down. Write it down and place it somewhere where you can hear it. You've heard many and thousands of people say this, but yet you don't do it. You don't have it up. You don't have it anywhere you can see it because technically it has not been pierced into here yet. So write it down, put it where you can see it. And the next thing is plan it out. What is it going to take? Realistically, what is it going to take? Do you know that when you start, like I start grad school in 3 weeks, I'm working on my 2nd master's degree. They already sent me a breakdown of what my year and a half, what my 30 credits should look like. And then what you do is, hello, my glasses there. All right. And what you should do, so they tell you what classes that they give you a suggested order. Now I can take whatever classes that I want as long as I get to my 30 credits, I'm going to graduate. But they give you a suggested order because they put it together so it kind of flows. Doesn't mean I have to follow, but it's something that I can work with. You got to do the same thing. Also, start looking at the more successful people in various different fields, not just one. And you'll notice that there are similar occurrences that they all share in how they became successful. Now, you don't have to emulate and become any of them. You remain who you are, but you take from them the information that's necessary to build the change inside your head. And this is what's necessary. And the idea is, if you don't do that, then within a couple of days into the new year, you'll be right back to where you are in the position that you are today. Life is not that difficult. We make it that difficult. we really make it that difficult. And in making it that difficult, we then try to come up with all these different scenarios and situations to justify it. We'll come up with different excuses. Listen, it really has to do with what's going on inside your head. It really has to do with what's my new frame of mind about what I say I'm going to do. Why am I doing this? What's the end goal? And if the end goal is something that's needed, well then how are you getting from point A to point B? Hello, how you doing, guys? And thank you for everyone that's joined. Thank you for all the hearts, by the way. And that's really what you have to say to yourself. So I'm not knocking. Well, actually, I take it back. I am knocking. Because if you're just putting out your resolutions, but you don't put out any game plan, that's like me going into the classroom with no lesson plan. Yes, I would still technically be teaching, but if I don't have a lesson plan, what am I doing? How do I know if the students are on pace for where they should be? What's the end goal? And if an administrator walks into my room or my area, how am I supposed to explain to her or him, whoever, what I'm doing? If a parent walks in and wants to know, what am I doing, because they want to help and assist me away from the classroom, what do I give them? This is why we create unit plans and we create lesson plans and we do assessments. Well, the same thing we do in the classroom, you can do in your personal life. An assessment is just simply taking a look at where you are. You just do it simple. Of course, we're supposed to make it simple, but we make it difficult because we have difficulties in here. You just sit down and do a simple assessment. Where am I at? Where am I trying to go? And what is it going to take for me to get there? 3 things. Where am I at? Where do I have to go? What is it going to take for me to get there? Think about it. If I'm driving from here to Delaware, I'm in New York. First, I have to know where I'm going in Delaware. Second, I need to know what resources, gas, whatever I'm going to need. And then I go. I'll deal with different things as I'm going, but it's just that simple. And as you start to deal with things, if it's traffic, I'll look for an alternative route. If the weather's bad, do I decide if this trip is worth continuing or do I pull over and stop? These are things you deal with as you go. But the situation is, you need to first start off is, hello, how you doing, guys? Where am I at? Where are you at? Assess where you're at right now. If it's a weight loss goal, okay, do you know what your weight is? What's the goal? And is that goal obtainable? Because sometimes we create goals that are unobtainable and we do it on purpose so we can sabotage our efforts. Oh no, this is too difficult. I'm not losing 275 pounds. First of all, why did you set a goal like that? Why didn't you set a goal for 25? So we have to set obtainable goals. And then once we do real assessments, I ask myself all the time, who do you want to be? Yes, you have to. But at some point, you have to put your foot down and make a decision on who that's going to be. Now, if you're not sure, then that's what you have to do is an internal audit. An internal audit is just sitting back and looking at your pluses and your minuses, your talents, and then deciding which of those you're going to pursue. Thank you so much. I appreciate the positive comments. So when you do the internal audit, you have to say to yourself, what are my talents? What talents do I have? What things do I like? What things don't I like? Make your list and then start to pursue something on that list that's positive. And you'll start to figure out who you are. You'll start to figure out, and always start with things that you like, because if it's things that you enjoy, you're more likely to stay with it. And one of the easiest ways to do that is you create a web. Is that you sit down and you put your name in a circle and just draw lines out to the different things that make you who you are. So if you're a poet, you write down poet. If you're an author, you write down, like for me, I did it for myself. It came out to 19 different things or 19 different hats that I wear. And I decided which of these hats I'm going to actually look to make money from. I was already wearing quite a few hats, but there was a couple others that I decided to incorporate into what I'm doing. And returning to grad school is one. Now, actually, my daughter asked me the other day. She said, well, Dad, how much education do you need? You already have a master's degree. And I laughed and I said, how dare you ask that question? What do you mean, how much education? What do you think I do all day when I'm reading and studying? Is that there's no such thing as too much education. But because I'm changing careers, I'm actually leaving the New York City Department of Education, and I want to move into a different area. I'm going back to school to get the education and the degree that's necessary. My master's is in education. I have a master's degree in assessment, teaching, curriculum writing, assessments, and teaching. That is what my master's degree is in. My bachelor's degree is in physical education, actually movement science, and health education, and associate's degree in business. What if I don't know what I can? Well, that's the reason why you do the internal audit. You sit down and write down about yourself. When you're not sure who you are, start making a list of the things you know. You know you. So you don't have to know what your future is. You don't have to know what you're trying to do right now. First, you have to check where you're at, which means sit down with a piece of paper, put your name on it, and just start listing the positives about yourself, the negatives about yourself. Hello from Russia, okay. And then what you do is that once you do that, sit down and start to consider, do you want to address the negatives, change them, fix them, do whatever, or do you want to accentuate the positives? Expand them into possible money-making opportunities or things that you'd like to see develop, arts, whatever. But that becomes your platform. Okay, hello from the Virgin Islands. Hello, guys. And hello to everyone that's joined, and hello from everyone that has given me hearts. My name is KL Belvin. Just simply talking about resolutions, how a lot of them are just empty promises if we don't change our mindset. So in changing our mindset, we have to change our focus. We change our focus by the things that we focus on. So what we do is that you simply say, what direction am I going into? And what's needed? You actually plan it out the same way you would plan out a trip. If you were taking a cruise, cruises give you itineraries. Okay, so you create an itinerary for yourself. Where are you at? Where are you trying to get to? What do you need to go on this trip? And as you are on the trip, make your adjustments. As you are on this trek in finding who you are, make the changes. When students come into the classroom or come into the area that I am in, I don't expect them to know completely everything that I'm going to teach them, then they wouldn't need me. So I have to do what's called an assessment, and actually it's called activating prior knowledge. So I may ask a question just to see where the class is at with what I'm about to attempt to teach. And all teaching is an offering of learning. You don't teach anybody anything. They have to accept that they want to learn, because this is why a lot of new teachers have such difficulties. They're trying to rough kids off to get them to learn what they want them to learn, and they have not made it a positive offering. I got a lot of stuff. Oh yes, congratulations being a teacher. But this is what has to happen is you have to give them reason why this information is important to them, not important to you. It's important to you because you're the teacher. Yeah, okay, but what's that mean to a 6-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 14-year-old, an 18-year-old? Now, I've taught on the middle school level, high school level, and currently I'm teaching. Teaching is what again? It is the offering of learning. You're only offering it's only offering of information. You're offering learning. A kid has to accept that they want to learn. You have to be the motivator to what you're offering. So what happens is you have to be excited about what you're giving them. You have to be excited when they start to get it. You have to be excited when you see them going through the process. You have to be excited when they fail. Yes, I said you have to be excited when they fail, because now you're going to start to see what type of student you have. Are they frustrated? Are they a student that now starts to think in a different direction? These are all the things that we have to turn into our own lives when we're doing what we do. So when you get up in the morning, if you're not sure what you want to do for 2016, step back and do an assessment. Once you do the assessment, ask yourself some qualifying questions. Which of these I need? I appreciate that. First of all, I just ran into one of my former students. He's like 31, so I'm feeling kind of old. But I had him back in 1998. And so we were just sitting and talking as grown men, but we can have this conversation now because we had fantastic conversations in middle school. So why are you not famous? Actually, I am famous. Google KL Belvin, you'll see. When can I visit in New York? All right, well, I'm leaving New York. I'll be here till July. But now, let me get to this. All right, my name is KL Belvin. If you need to reach me, you can reach me at my email, which is main office at bravenpublishing.com. That is BRAVIN, Bravin, BRAVIN Publishing at Publishing, I'm sorry, main office at bravinpublishing.com. Also, my website is www.bravin, publishing.com. I'm on all social networks. I'm on Facebook, KL Belvin. I'm on Google Plus, KL Belvin. I'm on Twitter, KL_Belvin. I'm on Tumblr. I'm on all social networks, and you can reach out. And so I'm also the author of 3 books. My first book was poetry. My second called A Man in Transition. My second book is called From Gigolo to Jesus, which is my personal testimony. And my third book, which was just released 2 weeks ago, is called Lukewarm Saint, which is basically a inspirational fictional book about an educator who's torn with some things that he's doing. It's actually a book about choices. From Gigolo to Jesus, yes, that's my second book, and my most recent book is called Lukewarm Saint. And I travel a lot of places and speak. Right now, my focus is going to be on grad school, so my schedule for 2016 is not that hectic. I'll be in Napa Valley in February, speaking at an event, and I'll be in Jersey in March. But right now, I'm just taking it easy because I really want to focus on grad school. But to anybody watching, what I do with my scopes is try to keep things as realistic as possible. I'm not a guru by any sense of the imagination. I just simply know what I know, and I simply try to offer what I know to Jesus. That's Gigolo to Jesus, but I bet it's some real. Oh yes, it's my real testimony. What I decided with From Gigolo to Jesus was I was going to put my personal transformation from being a misogynistic pig to a loving man of God and a loving husband. I put it down on paper, so that way you can't hold my past against me, and I decided to put it out there. Another reason why I put it out there is because with the number of children and young men and young women that I teach, I wanted to be transparent so their parents and everyone could see. I have no issues with what I was in the past. You know, it's who I am now. You can try to judge my past if you like, that's you. But what I try to do in my scopes is to simply give information that you can use once this is over. And to sum all this up, to wrap all this up, is that resolutions are really empty promises. They really are. They are empty promises if you have not stopped and considered. Thank you so much. I appreciate the comment. You have not stopped and considered where you are inside your own head. And a paradigm shift. And a paradigm is how we see things, how we see the world. If there's not a shift, if there's not a reason for you to see the world differently, then how are you going to be different? That means when the difficult times and the rocky roads come, you're going to shut down and resort back to what you're comfortable in. So to get out of your comfort zone, you first have to acknowledge that you're in a comfort zone. You have to acknowledge that you're about to take steps out of that zone into an area that you don't have as much familiarity with. Then you now have to surround yourself with the resources and the motivational things necessary. But the resources are the key. You wouldn't go camping without your backpack, food, and everything else. You wouldn't go out on any journey without the things that you need. So you need to get that and then go. That is the bottom line to it all. You must do. And then while you're doing, the highs and lows you deal with, but keeping your eye on the goal. Now I'm going to give you something that I use. I envision the goal. I envision what it's going to be like when I get it done. And I'll let you in on my own. Grad school. I already have in my mind what it's going to look like when my wife and daughter is sitting there watching me get my degree. Now that motivation I use while I'm going through. So on my difficult times, I got to get this done because I want them to see that. So the goal becomes the motivation. The end becomes your push during. It can even be your push at the beginning. Stephen Covey talks about think with the end in mind, and you should think with the end in mind. What is that going to feel like? What is that going to be like? What is that going to be when you have accomplished what you set out to accomplish? I get excited every time I publish a book. Why? Because I know what that book started out. It started out here. Yes, you can do a lot without a degree. Life is life. Life has nothing to do with formal education. Formal education is a choice. But there's so many choices that you can make in life. The question is, what is it that you want to do? And can you make money doing it? Now, is a degree going to enhance that? Or is a degree actually going to take time away from what you want to do? You don't need a degree to make money. You don't need a degree to be happy. A degree should only be sought if it's something that's going to enhance what you're doing. So the real question becomes, what is it that you want? And let your end goal change your vision. Get excited about getting, because let me tell you something, the closer that you get to the end, the more anxious you get, as well as excited that you get. When I'm finishing up a book, I get excited and I get a little nervous, because how are they going to perceive it? Are people going to like it? A degree could barricade certain goals, especially when it comes to outside influences. It could, but the question becomes, why are you getting the degree? And what is degree enhancing? Now, if you're just a person that loves to learn and you want to go to school, fine. So the idea is you go after what's needed for you to enhance you. But you can't do any of that if at the beginning you haven't done the formal assessment. You have to do the formal assessment, meaning you have to sit down and really tear yourself apart. The deeper that you get into you at the beginning, the more avenues that you will see that you have and paths that you have. So you have to really consider what that's going to be. You have to really consider, and then once you're on that journey, you'll know who to seek out. I think a lot of us, when we're younger, went to school without knowing ourselves. And so when you look at it, so many of us changed degrees, changed platforms. Many of us stopped going. Actually, my first 4 years in college, I screwed up and I got expelled, and I had to get myself together and then returned and got myself focused because I was a little older. So again, it still comes down to that formal assessment at the beginning. Breaking down who you are, breaking down an understanding of what you are, meaning what are your likes, what are your dislikes, and then what is it that you want? Is it something you want to improve? Is it something you want to gain? Is it something you want to accomplish? Is it something that you want to see? Maybe traveling is a goal. Maybe getting out of here and actually saying, I want to see the Eiffel Tower. Okay, that's a goal. Now the question is, how are you going to do it? How are you going to get from where you are to France? And if you're in France, how are you going to get from France to the United States, if that's whatever it is? So this is what has to be the situation. And you have to make the decision. And I missed some of the conversation about degrees. Again, I'll say a degree is not necessary for everything. That's a decision you have to decide. That's a thing that you have to make up in your mind. Is it needed? Well, to teach, I needed a degree. So I had to go to school and get the degree. But there's many other jobs that I've held that need a degree. So still don't, okay, you don't need a degree. So again, guys, I am KL Belvin. It is the end of the year, and this is the last day of the year. I hope that this has helped some of you. I'll go back, and a friend introduced me to a new app that allows me to go back and look at all the comments and everything. I will definitely go back and read everyone's comments, and it'll give me all your contact information. So I'll definitely go back and reach out to some of you that really had questions if I missed anything. And we'll even try to reach out and give you my information too. But again, I'll give it to you while I'm here. If you need to reach me by email, main office at bravinpublishing.com. That's BRAVIN publishing.com. My website is bravinpublishing.com. I am on Facebook, KL Belvin. Actually, I have a literary page, the literary page at KL Belvin. I am on Google Plus, KL Belvin. I am on Twitter, KL_Belvin, I believe. I got to check. I believe it's KL_Belvin. And Braven Books is my other one on Twitter. And so, and like I said, you can always do, thank you so much. You can always do a Google search. Just put in KL Belvin. You'll see all the different things that I do and where I might be speaking. But this year, like I said, I'm taking it easy. My focus is on education, but I don't want anyone to be left with the wrong impression of this scope. What this is about is simple. Do not write resolutions for the new year if you have not, one, assessed yourself, you have not checked your mindset to understand what is going to be needed inside your head to be able to focus on your goals, and also place the goal in the forefront. Start with the goal in mind. That will help to change your mind, because you know what? You might want to play in the NBA. That might be the goal. Then you might realistically say, I don't think that's happening at my age, my size, or whatever. Now, you have to make realistic goals too. And once you make the goal, just get started. And then if you need support, if you need help, that's what you start to reach out for. But you don't know if you're going to need help. You know, I have students who say to me, I need help, and they didn't even start working on the problem yet. And I go, no, get started. Then I'll see if I can help you. You're not trying to help me. And I tell the truth. No, I'm not. Because you don't need it right now. Get started, and then let's see if you need help. Nothing happens if you don't start. Amen. And that's actually what I say to students. And they'll look at me, and they pout, and they do whatever. Okay. So what if you want to be a U.S. president? Again, we said realistic goals. But what I say to them is get started. Now, as I come back, I notice they're already on the next problem. Thought they needed help. No, they didn't. Sometimes we are preconditioned to a negative response to things before we've even indulged in it. That's what I mean by changing the paradigm within our heads. Many of us, when someone says, can you, the first word out your mouth is no, I can't. We have to get out of that paradigm and understand that we can do anything within reason. Realistic reason. Now, you can tell yourself all type of crazy, lofty aspirations if you want, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm about to be an astronaut. Well, first of all, I don't even want to be an astronaut. But even if I wanted to be, I don't think Big Brothers is going to be astronauts anytime soon. And I'm not trying to be a little tiny brother to go, but I have other aspirations. And my aspirations are all centered around helping other people. So again, this has been KL Belvin. I hope that you enjoyed the scope. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the conversation. Like I said, later on when I go upstairs and I finish cleaning up, I will sit down and go through all of the questions and the comments that have been given. And I will definitely reach out to some of you then. And if I didn't feel I answered your question, I will definitely do so. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful and safe New Year. If you go out and party, if that's your thing, please try to do it in an area that you don't have to drive or you don't have to travel. Kind of get yourself positioned and just enjoy yourself. Don't allow one night to change your life to the negative. It's not that exciting when you really think about it. It's just starting a new year. Okay, but if you're the same you tomorrow morning, or you're worse off you tomorrow morning, you messed up. So try to put yourself somewhere safe with some people that you can enjoy. And don't ever forget that not everyone around you is positive, as we can see from some of the comments here. So don't get yourself in a situation where you're somewhere that you don't need to be with people who could care less about you, because you might need help and you may not get it. So please, all the best to you. And again, Happy New Year. God bless to all of you. Take care. Hardest part about scoping is ending it.